Hi and welcome Unity fans. These are my top 5 tips for working with the Unity editor. Have fun. Okay, here's the first tip. I call it F selection because you press the F key to focus an object, for example here in the scene view. Let me select this character from a far distance. I press the F key and boom, I have the focus, okay? This is absolutely useful and you will need it very often. And this one is not limited to the scene view. Let's suppose you selected an object in the hierarchy and you scrolled around in this view and forgot where it was. Just press the F key with the mouse cursor hovered over this hierarchy and it is focused. Amazing feature, you will need it. The next one is aligning your main camera to the view. Think about the following situation. You are designing a level and the camera points to this direction here, but you want to focus this bridge, for example. So let's find a nice angle for your view here in the viewport of your scene. Then select your main camera. Then, once you're happy with the alignment of your camera, press Ctrl, Shift and F. And here you can see how the camera is aligned in the game view. After that, you also have the possibility to grab this border of your camera to change the field of view like you want. The next tip is vertex snapping. Really important when you want to align your game objects like that. Suppose you selected this box and press Ctrl D to duplicate this. Here's the second box and you want to align the corner of the second box to a corner of the first one. Just press the V key till this gray little box appears. Now hold the V key pressed and the left mouse button and align it to the corner of the first box. That's snapping. Awesome, but this leads me to another great tip. Let's duplicate this box again and I will show you how you can use the Q, W, E and R keys to have a fast access for panning the view, moving objects, rotating and scaling. Of course you can select these little icons with the mouse, but it is a lot faster when just using the keys Q, W, E and R, right? I'm using these shortcuts all the time while developing my levels and they are such a big time saver. And the last one is also really great. It is about saving your current selected objects. Think about you have a game with 3 characters and you have to select them all at once because you have to move them together to a certain position. Then you can just store this selection by pressing Ctrl, Alt and the 1 key, which means you store it to the first selection store. All the other numbers can be used as well to have more selection storages. Now let's select a different object, because you're working on something else, okay, like the box or a rock, whatever. And then you want to return to the selection of these 3 game characters. Then you just press Ctrl, Shift and 1 to load your saved selection. This is a great feature, especially for larger games and scenes. Okay my friends, I really hope you liked this video and these tips for Unity 5. Please subscribe to my channel and it would be really great if you could support me on my Patreon so that I have more time to create tutorials like this in the future. Thanks a lot for watching and I hope to see you soon here back on JNM.